Austin, the boss of Tyne, likes to be the center of attention. We were at a Sunday night party at his house. Under the influence of alcohol, he showed himself in all his glory. He is as homophobic as it is possible to be, as well as sexist, racist, and believes that only his religious beliefs matter. I never felt any sympathy for Austin, nor did he for me. His house was decorated for the holidays, overdone both inside and out. I can't imagine his neighbors are thrilled with the gawkers driving by from dusk to midnight. There were Christmas trees in every room and mistletoe hanging in every aisle. Under several of them, I had already kissed Tyne. After watching the soccer game, I was dreading the presentation of quarterly bonuses. Tyne thought she was going to get one of them, so I crossed my fingers, hoping the evening would fly by and we could go home and celebrate naked. Several card tables had been set up to accommodate the crowd of guests. The elite of the company gathered at a table in Austin's dining room, while everyone else sat in folding chairs. Dinner was buffet style. After dinner, dessert and drinks quickly disappeared. Austin was being his usual meticulous asshole self. I was taken aback when he pointed in my direction and said, "Vaughn Ricky, he had to get married outside the family." Everyone in the living room awed. Even my wife Tyne. What the hell was that? I was simmering beneath the surface. "Yeah, by the time he graduated from high school, you were 23 years old then, Ricky?" By then, all his cousins were married or pregnant. It made everyone howl with laughter, and really hurt our marriage, as did Tyne. I remained unfazed, not even dignifying him with the courtesy to respond positively or negatively. When he attends family reunions, everyone thinks he's still on the prowl and that Tyne must be his parole officer. Laughter shook the house. Tyne never once looked in my direction, but her laughter erupted as well as she clung to his every word. When the hall fell silent, I spoke. "Austin, I remember you said something about growing up on a farm. We all know what that means. You lost your virginity in the field with the sheep, pulling your jeans down to your ankles." Tyne shrieked, "Ricky!" "Yes, indeed. Those commercials about people counting sheep must be making you get up and run after them. Ricky, stop it, please." Tyne tried a different approach. It was deathly quiet. "And your beautiful bride. I bet her curly hair reminds you of your favorite farm animals. Does she make you finish faster by saying B-E-E-E, 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 B-E-E-E? Ricky, stop it," from one terrified Tyne. "Get the hell out of my house, asshole!" Austin stood up, pointing at the door. I took a drink of my nearly empty beer bottle, waved him off, and left alone. Walking out the front door, I didn't look back once. My phone was off before I even reached my car. It took less than an hour to gather the few things I wanted to keep. I left my wedding ring and tattered marriage license on the kitchen table. Although I didn't want to keep them, I did take all the photo albums I could find. They ended up in the dumpster behind the motel where I spent the first night. I had experienced parties at Austin's house before, but his humiliation of me on Sunday night, fueled by alcohol, was the last straw. Although I had no proof, I believed Tyne was having an affair with the man. Her refusal to speak out against him was enough to destroy our marriage. If her job meant more to her than respecting me, then she could have him and her job. Life is too short to waste on people like that. With the advent of online banking, it was easy to open new accounts just in my own name. Time was not on my side. I needed to get my half of the assets before Tyne realized it was over between us. To hell with it. I took everything. Let her figure out how to get it all back. This is war. So what if they make me give it back? Waking up Monday morning, I was confused but quickly realized where I was and why I was here. I checked out of the motel and arrived at work at my usual time. My phone was still snoozing. One of my friends at work at the end of the day quickly checked the parking lot for me. There appeared to be a woman waiting for someone. She was parked on the street and seemed interested in the cars in our parking lot. Since my expense reports were due by Friday, I stayed working on them until 9 o'clock at night. There was little I could do now if Tyne was still there, and she was. As I approached my car, I was interrupted by Tyne before I reached her. "What brings you out here at this time of night, Tyne?" "Cut the crap, Ricky. My credit card is declined and my checking account is empty, and you've ruined our marriage license. Here, put your wedding ring back on. And the savings account, don't forget, I emptied that too. Keep the ring. Can't you take a little joke, you poor, thin-skinned child? Fuck you. Or better yet, go back to fucking Austin. I'm done with you. Over what? Because I laughed at my boss's jokes? If you want to believe that, of course you did. I don't understand what this is about. And that perfectly summarizes why I dumped you. Now, unless you want to get sprayed with mosquito repellent, get the hell out of my way. You can't. She couldn't. I did. Tyne retreated to her car. What the hell is wrong with you? She shouted at me when I pulled up beside her. What the hell is wrong with me? I had a wife who chose to laugh at me instead of with me. If I had a wife who loved me, she would have stood up and said, "Fuck you, Austin, I'm leaving. How dare you insult my husband like that? Come on, Ricky, let's get out of this stinking hole." In contrast to her usual wit, Tyne looked at me in silence. I left. Having booked a hotel room for the week, I tried a cafe I passed by every day but never stopped. It was more than good. On Tuesday, the Tyne's approach changed. A note was slipped under my windshield. "Ricky, I'm sorry. I had to stick up for you in front of my boss. Please come home. I love you." Tyne. Not having my phone turned on wasn't as stressful as I thought it would be. Checking texts and emails every few minutes was replaced by listening to the demons in my head. Without my phone on, it was easy to not contact Tyne. Sure, I could have gone home, but that didn't happen. When I got off work on Wednesday, Mr. Asshole himself was waiting for me. "Ricky, I'd like to apologize. I was just being stupid." I sprayed him with mosquito spray as he walked back to his car. A mental note to buy more mosquito spray. "You miserable asshole! BTW, I have your wife. You're a cuckold!" Suspicions confirmed. Too bad I didn't get it on tape. I'm sure his wife would have loved to hear that confession. Tyne returned on Thursday. She was dressed better than appropriate for a weekday. "Ricky, please come home." "Dressed like that, you look like you've been the company whore today." "Ricky, I dressed like that for you." "I doubt that." "Is Austin sharing you with other people now? You know he bragged about sleeping with you? If he did, he was lying. I've been faithful to you." "I doubt that too. I don't know you anymore. I don't like you anymore. If you add it all up, I don't love you anymore. It was a 5-year mistake." "Don't say that, Ricky. I've been faithful to you and I still love you. Can I show you the video?" "I guess." Tyne walked over to me, playing with her phone. She stopped a meter away from me and picked up the phone. The video was not taken by Tyne, but by someone else and centered on Tyne. "Thank you all for taking a moment out of your workday. Sunday night, I did something stupid, one that could cost me my marriage. A lot of you were there. So tonight, I want to say, screw you, Austin, I'm out of here. How dare you insult my husband like that?" In the video, Tyne approached Austin. She brushed him off, spit in his face, and then turned around and walked away. "You'll notice I changed my clothes. I went home this afternoon and changed into this. I want you to come home." "He said he slept with you." "That's bullshit. Maybe he did, but I believe in my vows, and you'll have to decide who to believe." "Well, my coworker happened to capture it. Shortly after I sprayed Austin, he turned on his camera. Check out this video." The video showed me walking away from Austin, who by then was leaning against his car, wiping his eyes. It clearly shows Austin telling me I'm a cuckold. "Ricky, that's not true. Burn the bastard. Send this to his wife. I've got her email address. What can I do to prove it to you? Ask anyone for proof. There won't be any. I'd be happy to take a lie detector test. When did this supposedly happen? Help me, Ricky. I don't want to lose you to a false accusation. I know I owe you a lot for my behavior Sunday night, but there was never any infidelity on my part." As much as I don't want to, I wonder why he chose to humiliate me. Is this what you do when you're alone together? Make fun of me? Tyne fought back tears. "I wasn't with him. I don't know why he was hitting on you." Tyne choked back sobs. Part of me wanted to hug her. I loved her enough to marry her. What if that asshole just wanted to get back at me for embarrassing him? Those emotions clashed with the emotion. What did you expect her to say? I still need some time, Tyne. I paid for a week at my hotel. Give me some space. Tears were running down Tyne's cheek. "Please come home, Ricky. I love you. Can you still say you love me?" "I love you, Tyne. I just don't like you right now." Tyne looked like she was about to snap. I opened my arms and she crashed into me. "Do you want to go out for dinner?" "I'd love to, Ricky. There's a cafe on 3rd and Sauce. I'll meet you there." Dinner was a little awkward. Tyne tried to act like nothing had happened. I was asking myself a million what-if questions. When it was time to leave, I kissed Tyne on the forehead, causing her eyes to cloud over. Ricky, please don't seek comfort from anyone else. You don't need revenge because I've always been loyal to you. I love you. Good night. I love you too, Tyne. Be careful where you go. Back in my room, I forwarded the video of Austin claiming I was a cuckold to Tyne, asking her to forward it to Austin's wife. No wonder Mr. Asshole was waiting for me after work on Friday. Austin didn't know that security had been alerted and parked outside my car. As I pulled into the parking lot, Austin headed towards me with the words, "You funny shit! I should kill you!" Luckily, Austin only shot me with pepper spray. While I was wiping my eyes, he kicked me in the balls. Luckily, the kick wasn't hard, but I still went down. He threw another good punch before he was grabbed by 2 security guards. The police were called. He was charged not only with assault, but also with threatening to kill me. The guards videotaped the whole thing. Tyne left several messages begging me to forgive her, but I still needed time. That damn pepper spray was really invasive, and I ended up just throwing my clothes in a dumpster in the back of the hotel. I was glad it was Friday night, as the only clothes I had were not work-appropriate, were dirty, and I didn't want to walk into our house and have to deal with Tyne. Monday morning, I checked out of the hotel with full intention of returning to my home. However, there were a couple of guys waiting for me after work. "Mr. Williams, could you give us a minute?" I didn't have time to catch which one was speaking, but I turned toward them. "Who are you, and why do I have to talk to you?" The one who was shorter in stature and I suppose older replied, "My name is Eric Brody. I'm filling in for Austin for the time being. This is James Sanger from our corporate legal department. Your wife resigned last week, and we would very much like her to reconsider her decision. Our attempts to contact her have been unsuccessful. We were hoping you could shed some light on what led us to this." Sitting on the hood of my car, I briefly recounted the past week. I may have overlooked the fact that I spray-painted Austin, turning it into a self-defense reaction. That's exactly what I told the police last Friday. He had no proof, and my friend's videotape was taken after Austin was on the ground, swearing. Sanger tried to speak as if he were on the stand. "Look, Mr. Williams, your wife is certainly not without fault in all of this, but regardless of her behavior on the job, we really want her back on the team. She was a team leader on a lucrative project with a deadline fast approaching. Can you try to convince her to come back?" "What do you mean by her behavior at work?" Both men looked at each other as if one of them had farted. Sanger tried to save face. "Well, it's well known in the office that she and Austin were a little too friendly with each other. We have no evidence that they ever violated company policy, which only covers their time together during work hours. Our investigation stopped as soon as they left the workplace. If he was trying to help, he certainly failed. Look, James, unless you want to share the results of your investigation with me, I have no further comment." Brody looked alarmed. "As much as we'd like to, Ricky. That data is considered proprietary, and employee privacy laws don't allow it." "Then I think you'd better call Tyne and ask a little harder. Good day, gentlemen." As I drove away, I was more puzzled than ever. My initial suspicion that something was going on between Austin and Tyne was red hot. Instead of driving home, I stopped at a sports bar and called Tyne from the parking lot. "Ricky, when are you coming home?" "Well, that's up to you. I spoke to your company's legal representative a few minutes ago. He implied that your office friends threw you under the bus because you and Austin behaved unprofessionally. Care to comment? Ricky, I've always been loyal to you. Then let me ask you a different question. Would you do all the things you did with him if you had your mom standing next to you?" The pause answered for her. Tyne repeated, "I've always been faithful to you. Just not honest. I gave you a chance to come clean and you didn't." And I hit the red disconnect button. Tyne immediately called back. I answered, "Not now." I quickly turned my phone off and drove back to the hotel. On the way, I stopped to buy new clothes and wondered if this was going to be my new existence. One of my purchases was a landline phone. To avoid being ambushed after work, I arrived at 4 in the morning and left at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. My boss was fine with this and even offered to work remotely a few days a week. Anyone who needed to contact me now had my phone number. I spent my nights feeling sorry for myself and emptying inboxes, emails, and voicemails. Yes, it sounds like Tyne was hurting, but she clearly wasn't being completely honest with me. The time away from Tyne was painful. She seemed sincere about not cheating, but something was brewing. Sooner or later, I would have to talk to her. About 1 o'clock in the afternoon, as I was leaving work, I was called into the reception area. "Are you Ricky Williams?" a woman dressed casually asked. "Yes. What can I do for you?" "I'm here to deliver this envelope to you. Have a good day." As I took it to the car, I wondered if Tyne had filed for divorce, and I was wrong. Inside was a lie detector test result and a signed post-nuptial agreement. Line by line, I checked the lie detector results. I went online to see if it was a legitimate company. Turns out it is. Have you had sex of any kind with anyone other than your husband since you started living exclusively together? No. True. Have you had an emotional affair during the same time period? Yes. True, with only one person? Yes. True. Have you had dinners out that your husband would not approve of? Yes. True. Have you received gifts that you should have refused? Yes. True. Is all of this still going on? No. True. Do you love your husband? Yes. True. There were many other basic questions, but my suspicions were confirmed. So now what? I turned my phone back on and invited Tyne to dinner at the cafe. Her answer was a quick yes. Since dressing up for me didn't work out last time, Tyne showed up in jeans and a sweatshirt. "Sorry, I'm late. Traffic was a bitch today." "No problem, I didn't realize you were ignoring me." "No, you didn't. So did you get my package?" "I did. It's kind of a good news, bad news thing. And for that, I apologize. I was stupid. And while you don't have to believe a word I said, it should never have ended with me having sex with him. It doesn't matter. Being married means having the fortitude to tell someone offhandedly that you're married and keeping it professional," she said with misted eyes. "I know. I failed you. I failed myself. Please tell me we still have a chance." "Are you still working with Austin?" "No, he got transferred. The corporate bigwigs lured me back to my job with a raise." "So you have your eye on someone else?" "I think I deserve it. I give you my word I'll be an ice queen with men from now and forever, if you'll only come home. If I find out anything you haven't disclosed about your unwise act, I will divorce you. Read the prenup. It's all spelled out. If you find anything, I'm finished. I know you won't because there's nothing to find. So, you're going home?" I reached out and squeezed Tyne's hand. She started to pull away before I whispered, "Yes." Epilogue. We celebrated the 12 days of Christmas with more energy than ever before. Tyne glued our wedding certificate together, and it sits framed on her dresser as a reminder of how close things were to falling apart. Her mom helped her restore most of the photos I threw away. The corporate retreat gave Tyne the bonus of settling any questions she might have had about Austin's behavior. We could have been in his house, but giving out quarterly bonuses blurred that legal line. They decided it was better to close the matter rather than risk a lawsuit. She's still the team leader. Every time Tyne finds a picture of a sheep, we print it out and send it to Austin at his new place of employment, anonymously, of course. We've heard from others that Austin has a few stuffed sheep left on his desk.